I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hi, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, a Patreon review for John McKinney, who I want to thank him for his pledge on Patreon. For those who are ever interested to support me on Patreon or PayPal, the links would be down below. If not, perfectly understand. He asked for The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Now, this is a Disney film from 1996, and it's one I had never seen before. And I gotta say, I was very much impressed by it. Very much impressed by it. Because when you think of Disney movies, this never gets brought up. People always bring up The Lion King, Aladdin, which are two great ones. Did not see the live action versions of them, but the animated versions, wonderful. Or the classics like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast from the 1991. But this one, it's really good because it's a Disney film, but it's very un-Disney for a number of reasons. One, it's very dark and serious in quite a few points. It does have the usual tropes where, of course, you have the songs, you have the beautiful woman falling in love with the beautiful guy and they'll get married at the end. You have the comic relief characters, in this instance 3 gargoyle statues. There was Timon and Pumbaa and the Lion King. There was the crab Sebastian and the Little Mermaid. There was the teapots and the candles in Beauty and the Beast. So they have their little comic relief characters here. But again, there's some, not only the animation, the look of it, there's some darkness to it, but some themes too. I mean, the way it opens, this guy is singing a song, but also telling the story of how the Hunchback was born, and the mother gets killed. Granted, nothing vicious, but she's pushed down, hits the stairs, and she dies from it. This judge, this villain, is ready to dump the baby into a well. And not only for the darkness, but its usage of religion and God, which is usually a no-no because they don't want to deal with religion and religious aspects and God and all that in Disney. But they did in this case. Because someone from the church comes in and is like, no, you will not do that, you see? And the bad guy looks at all these statues like staring at him. Pretty much invoking the fear of God into the villain, so the villain doesn't kill the baby, but is going to raise it, but keep it in the bell tower in the church. And I'm like, wow, so we got the bad guy almost killing a baby, an infant. And maybe it's not as crazy I'm making it out. I mean, look at Bambi and the sweet deer, doe, however you want to put it, her mama dies. And some of the sadness and craziness you would see in those older movies like Dumbo and so forth. But by this point, again, this is not something you would see in a Disney movie nowadays. Even a live-action Disney film, let alone animated. So I was a bit impressed by that. It moved at a good pace. It was 90-some minutes. The songs they fit the film well. I can't say they were songs that I would remember off the top of my head. Like in Aladdin, you remember Prince Ali, Alabi, Ali Baba, or you would remember songs in The Lion King, Hakuna Matata, or Can you feel the love tonight, tonight? So they're not memorable songs, but they're songs that work for the subject matter that it's portraying. The voice work, Tom Hulce did the voice of the Hunchback. Really solid job. If that name sounds familiar, he's the guy who played Amadeus in the film Amadeus. From back in the day that won a bunch of Oscars. And then funny enough, no one ever talks about that film nowadays, even though it won a ton of Oscars back then. Esmeralda, who's the gypsy who cares as a friend after he meets up with the Hunchback. That's voiced by Demi Moore. I didn't even realize Demi Moore was voicing one of the characters in this movie. I'm like, wow, that I recognize that. Oh, okay, that's cool. I'm a big Demi Moore fan. I love G.I. Jane. I think she did good work in films like Ghost. Even that Charlie's Angels sequel in the 2000s, she was the main villain. I thought she was actually good in that. Kevin Kline does a voice as this soldier that comes back from the war, works for the bad guy, but he's actually a good guy, good soldier, and he falls in love with Demi Moore's character. Kevin Kline, I like as an actor. He's a guy that fits well in the world of voice acting. He voices other film I have not seen, but I've heard of, The Road to El Dorado. I know they have songs by Elton John. I mean, I've heard of it, I haven't seen it. Maybe one day. But yeah, this other familiar voices, I forget the guy who voiced the villain, but he has a very deep, booming voice. And I now know I remember him from. He was one of the professors in the Arnold Schwarzenegger film Twins. I believe he was the guy who was teaching Arnold at the beginning of the movie. I believe so. I believe that was the case. I know he was one of the professors on the project with Arnold and Dan DeVito making those twins. Perfect voice for a villain, and definitely one of the more evil villains in a Disney movie. Again, one of his first acts is killing a mother and ready to kill a baby down a well. That shit's serious. The animation is beautiful, nice sweeping shots, like when Quasimodo saves Esmeralda swinging on the rope. Really nice animation, murky clouds. One scene where Quasimodo and Kevin Kline's character, they're in the sewers and there's like a ton of skeletons. I like the artwork, the animation, the color scheme. And the skeletons seem like they're coming to life, but it's these assholes in skeleton suits. That was a really cool, one of my favorite bits, animation art style. Like I said, I thought the voice work did a nice job. Tom Hulce definitely brought a sense of innocence and humanity to Quasimodo. There's a good sort of sophisticated seriousness and drama, but, well, actually that one I'm stealing a quote from a review. The review said it has a bit more sophisticated seriousness and drama and sentimental intolerance. So that quote I'll steal from a review. And it's a good way to describe the movie. You really feel bad for him. You know, the crowd make fun of him. Some really almost vicious cruelty. Idea for a Disney film. Where they, again, it's maybe not as crazy as it made it out to be. I mean, look at The Lion King and the death of Simba's father. And you would see that throughout. This is, of that period, this is one of the more darker ones, which I appreciated and in a weird way enjoyed. But I mean, they're beating him up with vegetables and they're tying him down, hanging ropes around his neck. I'm like, shit, are they gonna fucking hang him in the Disney movie? They don't want to hang the shit out of him. Why don't they make movies like this? Kids could handle this back in the day, but they can't handle the fucking shit of today? Really? Yeah, they can. You're just being a pussy about it, Disney. Bit of pussy. There's even this weird moment where, like, the villain smells Esmeralda's hair or neck and goes, after she's like, what are you doing? I was imagining a rope around your neck. I'm like, fuck, didn't expect that. I really like the choir music that plays throughout the picture. Definitely brought a sense of scope to it. Again, just using religious aspects and how some of the darker animation and themes. For a guy that had never seen the film but had heard of the film from time to time, I was impressed. And like I said, I really liked the voice work. I would say this is definitely up there with the better Disney movies and more underrated Disney animated films. There's a little bit of love triangle between the Hunchback, Kevin Kline's theater, Demi Moore's theater, but I like that they don't go into the cliche, they all hate everybody and piss each other off. It just made it seem a bit more unique and different. You just say maybe they didn't do that because it's Disney, but I don't know. I just see that happen in other Disney movies. I just enjoyed the way they portrayed it in this one. Just seemed a bit different. Like I said, not as stereotypical. The Hunchback gets some nice heroic moments, like when he saves the lady in the third act. The attack on the cathedral when the soldiers try to get in. My one big issue with the film is the comic relief characters. The 3 stone statues suck ass and dick. They suck fucking dick. You did not need... See, that's what I mean. Disney, I said that's a cliche. They didn't do the love triangle. Like, they had it, but they didn't go into typical, I'm going to fuck you over, I'm going to fuck you over, make them all of a sudden into piece of shit human beings. They didn't go that route. I appreciate. But the cliche they did have to do is we gotta have some comedic characters for the lead character. I think even Hercules, didn't Danny DeVito play like a comedic character? Like Sebastian the Crab in Little Mermaid. Like, I mean, I mentioned that stuff before. You didn't need that. You didn't need that in this film. I didn't like any of the 3 stone statues. The gargoyle statues. One was like an older lady. One was Jason Alexander. And one was almost this prim, prissy gargoyle statue. You didn't need that shit. I didn't care for Jason Alexander's song. He couldn't sing. Their jokes were not funny. Sometimes creepy, because Jason Alexander's gargoyle statue kind of had the hots for Esmeralda's goat. I'm like, does the statue want to fuck a goat? Is that what I'm seeing? Does he even winks at the goat and the goat's like, huh? And when the other two are drawing the girl, because, hey, you're in love with this girl, Jason Alexander's character draws the goat. It's like, yeah, I want to fuck this goat in the ass. I want to fuck the goat. No, this is not goat as in greatest of all time. This is an actual fucking physical goat with teeth. So it's just bring bad images and bad juju vibes and bad feelings and faults all around. And to me, that is the one big fault of the movie. You could completely have taken those 3 gargoyle statues out of the fucking flick. Just have him talking to himself. It would make sense if he's alone for his entire life in this place. Just have him talk and sing to himself. It wouldn't be the first time a character sing to themselves in a Disney movie. That's most of the songs in the Disney movies. They sing to themselves. I think like Pocahontas did that and her Colors of the Wind song and all that shit. Just do that. So you didn't need that. Hell, if you want humor, Kevin Kline, you hire Kevin Kline. You can have the soldier have some humorous aspects to him as well. If you need humor that badly. But other than that, it's a straightforward flick, well animated. Like I said, I appreciate the darkness, seriousness of some of the subject material, themes on tolerance, some nice heroic moments. One thought I had was when there's an earlier part where Quasimodo saves Esmeralda. I'm like, holy shit, he's doing parkour. He's doing parkour when parkour was a thing. When he's going around the building, and I'm like, oh shit. That fuck, it is parkour when he gets her out. Spoiler alert about the ending. Another thing that I guess I expected was that the girl would fall in love with Quasimodo, but I don't know why I thought that, because it's not really the Disney thing. So I should have expected that, of course, the good-looking girls don't deal with the good-looking guy, and the ugly guy, at least he gets the acclaim of the crowd, and they're tolerating him. It's kind of like Beauty and the Beast. Whereas a beast, no, that's not right. As long as he turns to the handsome prince, it'll work. I don't know why. It's just something about if you look different, you're not going to be happy in love. But if you look normal and handsome, then you will find love. Maybe that's me being stupid or thinking too much of it, but in a weird way, it's sadly more realistic. I'm not saying that's how everybody thinks. Hold on with the pitchforks. But there are a lot of people that do think that way. Let's be honest. On both sides. I'm not saying I think that way. I'm not saying you guys think that way. I'm saying there's a lot of people out there, though, who do think that way. So, in a weird way, the ending is more realistic than if the girl and Quasimodo got together. But I would have been fine if it went that route. But again, the way they handle it, I'm like, that seems more realistic. It's just a stupid thought that entered my brain that I decided to pilfer out of my mouth. But yeah, the songs, granted, they're not memorable to the point I'd be humming it out of the blue, but they fit the film. The gargoyles are annoying three twats. Didn't need to be in the film. But the usage of darker subject material, more risque subject material with the religion aspects. The villain, you really hate him. Very evil incarnate. Quasimodo, very likable. I thought Tom Hulce did a nice job on the voice. Definitely felt the innocence of that character. Demi Moore, Kevin Kline, I like them as actors and actresses. Cool to see them in the movie. Nice animation. Satisfying, happy ending. Makes you feel good. Feel good that Quasimodo was able to get what he wanted, to be out of that damn bell tower, and for the town to look at him as part of their own. And I think when this came out, it didn't do that well at the box office. Because a lot of these animated films cost a lot of money, like 70, 80 to 100 million back in the day. And I think this, I don't know if it broke even. Maybe it made profit with worldwide. Maybe that. But it wasn't Lion King Aladdin numbers. Although I guess well enough that they had a direct-to-video sequel. I don't know anything about that sequel, but I know it exists. Seemed like it got some good critical notices. But yeah, for a film that no one really talks about nowadays, not a bad film at all. Nice surprise. So I'm glad I did see it. So that's part of the fun thing about doing these Patreon things, is the ability to see movies like this that I never would have seen if it wasn't for people like John McKinney. So thank you so much for that. Either way, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.